Hi everyone, glad to have you with me for part 3 of the Best Self series. Basically what this whole thing is I'm taking a big 60-minute talk that I gave at a conference recently here locally, and I'm sort of breaking it down bit by bit and really relaying that information to you here on YouTube, because I felt like it's a lot about confidence, it's a lot about achieving your goals, being your best version of yourself, being the star of your own life, as it was put in my initial talk that I got. Part 1 and part 2 up. Part 1 was taking the lead. That was talking about leading by example, and we use our attitudes to lead by example. Part 2, we talked about owning it and really taking charge of those things in your life that you feel passionately about. You feel like, that's where you want to go with your life, and you really own those talents and abilities and be your own advocate for those things. Basically, all these points just keep kind of building on one another until we get to the top of that pyramid and we start to realize our best self. So today we're talking about leaving the comfort zone and just getting hungry to learn and getting hungry to grow. And we tend to get comfortable with things that are easy for us. I mean, perhaps you've gained some confidence in one aspect of your life or another, and you feel really comfortable where you're at. Sometimes when things get a little bit uncomfortable, that's a good thing because it's pushing you to expand your horizons a little. We're making progress when we get outside the comfort zone. And I remember when I was in cheerleading, and I cheered for a total of 10 years, all the way from 7th grade through college. So once I started, I didn't stop. And in junior high, I remember it was about, you learn the cheers, you know how to smile, and basically, you got it down. If you can do those things, you're gonna like cheerleading. And I liked cheerleading because I could do those things. Then at the end of 8th grade, I remember going to my first meeting to be a high school cheerleader. And I really wanted to do it, but we had this coach, her name was Nikki, and she was very serious about it. She wanted practicing all the time. She wanted stunts. She wanted tumbling. She wanted basically the cheerleading that I knew in my mind from junior high. She wanted that taken up about 10 notches. And I remember going to that meeting, hearing about the expectations and thinking, I might not end up being a high school cheerleader if this is what it's going to be. Have you ever had those feelings where someone kind of presented you with something that seemed just so overwhelming? It's that moment where you have to ask yourself, and you're really the only one that can answer this question, but you have to ask, how bad do I want it? That's really what it comes down to. I mean, if you want something bad enough, you will go for it. If it's so-so, you may leave it behind. You may recall from video 1, my junior high years weren't the most pleasant. I didn't have a whole lot of pals, and so I kind of thought, getting into high school, getting around a new group of friends, getting on a new team, that might kind of give me that fresh start I was looking for. You know what I mean? And I remember talking about that with my mom as well. And so if that meant I was going to have to start, learning how to do backflips on a hardwood gym floor and letting girls, toss me up into the air and catch me, that was a hurdle I was going to overcome. When we're talking about leaving the comfort zone, I mean, that could be changing jobs, that could be going to a new school, that could be, taking up a new hobby, making new friends, putting yourself out there in a new social scene, starting to date. There are so many aspects of life where we are forced to make a decision of what is best, what we feel is best for us, and what we think we need to overcome to get there. And the thing about it is, leaving the comfort zone doesn't have to happen quickly. It might look like a mountain that you have to climb, but there are a lot of little, steps to getting there. You're taking it one step at a time, and you're building confidence as you get closer to meeting those goals. I mean, I came to love cheerleading so much that after 4 years of doing it in high school, I did it 4 more years in college, and through all of that, I learned that I could handle challenges. In cheerleading, I mean, that's a very literal example of getting out of your comfort zone. In college, I was asked to be, tossed in the air, do a backflip, and have 3 girls on the ground catch you who aren't really all that much bigger than you are. That sounds to anyone who hears that as, that's physically, doing something to get out of your comfort zone. But this is really a mental comfort zone, because I remember when we were getting ready to do that first back tuck basket toss I ever did in my first cheerleading camp in college. That's when things, you're doing college cheerleading, things start getting serious. You're doing, really complicated stuff up in the air. And I remembered being at that camp and everybody telling me I could do it, And I just, for the life of me inside, you know, it was the mental voice up here telling me I couldn't. Even though it was a very physical task, and it's like, can't you just make your body do it? It was like there was a mind barrier that's saying, you should be scared about this. This is difficult. This is beyond you. You can't do it. And ultimately, I remember in that moment, you know, you have to kind of ask yourself that question, how bad do I want it? When you're really feeling that conflicted thought in your head, I remember I went ahead and I just said, I am going to do it. I'm going to do this basket toss. I'm going to be thrown in the air, however many feet, flip around and come back down, and everything's going to be fine. You visualize, you talk yourself up, you tell yourself you can do it, and once you've got yourself convinced up here, it can happen. You know what I mean? But if you're still in this flip-flop type mode where you're not sure and, you know, you're not convinced, you've got to convince yourself. That's what it comes down to. It's how bad do you want it, and if you're hungry for it, and if you're hungry to learn, and you're hungry to step it up and do more, there is your chance. There's your answer to that question. Just to kind of review what we've done, because we've talked about the whole lower level of this pyramid now. I mean, first off, we talked about taking the lead and leading by example, owning it, really deciding, you know, what those passions are and harnessing them and being, you know, your own advocate for those things, and then trying to taking it a step further and improving yourself in those areas by getting out of your comfort zone. And this whole foundation, basically what this builds is confidence. It doesn't happen overnight. These are things we work at. If you have a great mentor or mom or coach or friend that helps encourage you, you know, that's great. But as I've said time and time again, we don't always have those people in our lives. And sometimes you are the only encouragement you've got, but you find that inner strength and you have that confidence, and that will take you through so many other situations, you know, where it is maybe just you. So we're going to talk about persistence next off, and this is going to go into a lot of things about my job search, which required a whole lot of persistence. So I hope you enjoy that when we get to it. Thank you so much for watching this series, and I'm really excited for what's to come, because some of these topics, persistence and passion, are the next two, and they really go hand in hand. So I'm very excited to share that. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.